Welcome to the video about how to resolve your shin splints with one exercise. To resolve shin splints, we need to comprehend what is happening so we can consciously fix it. Shin splints is really a result of an improper walking technique. I have looked online for the solutions other people suggest, which are applying ice, the top 10 shoes to help with shin splints, orthotics, insoles, rest, don't walk on rocky terrain, do these stretches, do those stretches, compresses, anti-inflammation pills, shock-absorbent shoes, cross-training, and do less impact. Then others say that shin splints is caused by repetitive stress, military training, genetics, increased activity, flat feet, or falling arches. None of these suggestions is about how to resolve shin splints, but rather a giant band-aid to lessen some of the pain. I am not into band-aids. I'm about problem solving and coming up with permanent pain resolutions. This is what this video is about, to empower you to resolve your own shin splints, like I did. Hello, I'm Jacob Caldwell. I've been a massage therapist since 2002. I'm a problem solving pain resolution therapist. I like to know how pain is created, because when we understand that we have been creating our own chronic ailments, then we can notice how to stop hurting ourselves and then change our technique into healing ourselves. Awareness of self is the start of your own spiritual and physical evolution to have the power to heal yourself. My journey started out by having crippling shin splints. Throughout my high school and college experience, I was a competitive swimmer. We didn't run much, but when I transitioned into racing canoes and playing softball, more running took place. In my first year of softball, I experienced shin splints so painful that I could barely walk back to my car after the game. I was dumbfounded by just running around the bases a few times gave me such pain. I then talked with a chiropractor and he suggested orthotics. Intuitively, I knew I did not want to do such things, but the suggestion was a wake-up call. I began to look down at my feet and wonder, maybe I'm not walking right. The knowledge I gained by doing this and answering this question is what this video is about. We can solve most of the ailments that we have if we can observe our bodies and how we interact with the world. In 6 months, in the time for next softball season, I had solved my shin splint issues. I've never had them again. I found out it's all about how you flex your foot muscles into the ground. Not flexing your body correctly is how chronic back, neck, and leg pain is created. If your pain issue is not directly related to an injury, it is likely posture-created pain, and these pains can be undone when we use our body correctly. Nature and the body has already figured these things out for us. It is up to us to use our body within the bounds of nature and listen to the body's warning signs that we are hurting it. When we use our body properly, by the way nature intended, then we can begin to understand bigger revelations like why we are here and what we need to do. Through this journey, I have dealt with other injuries in the past. When I was 19, I was a lifeguard, and we had a drill. I jumped off the tower and slipped on the ground and severely sprained my MCL, which is one of the ligaments inside the knee. As a typical 19-year-old, I ignored it. However, after 20 years, it caught up to me, and I gradually accumulated plantar fasciitis, knee pain, sciatica, and low back pain. My knee became so tight it would give out randomly, and I would nearly fall over. Within a few years, I have systematically resolved all these issues by flexing my feet correctly and breaking the habit of improper walking technique. I found that your foot must hit 4 points while walking. I wrote a book about it called How to Walk Correctly. I have also created a 13-part video series to visually demonstrate what the walking technique looks like. The information will show how to resolve most leg and foot issues. There is a lot of details going on in one walking stride, so I've broken down each detail into its own chapter. I equate the walking technique to math, because you must learn to add and subtract before you learn trigonometry and calculus. So the walking technique can get difficult fast if you try and do all the tips at once. I found it is best to focus on one detail at a time. What we are doing is breaking a bad habit, so it takes some patience and long-term understanding that this new habit of walking will slowly eradicate the chronic pains that you've been dealing with. Shin splints is caused by walking on the outside edge of your feet with your toes pointed outward. When you observe my old shoes, you can see the outside edge of the foot and heel is significantly worn out. So to resolve shin splints, the one and only change you need to do is to point your foot straight ahead, and when your leg is behind you, push off the inside of your foot. When walking, when your leg is in front of you, you use the outside of your foot, and when your leg is behind you, you transfer your weight and push off the inside of your foot. Shin splints is caused by people not flexing and pushing off the inside of their foot. To break it down further, there are 4 specific points to hit when walking. 1. The heel. 2. The outside ball of the foot. 3. Now the leg is behind you, and now we transfer our weight to pushing off the inside foot by engaging the inner ball of the foot. And lastly, the big toe. It is important to hit 3 and 4 separately. When you do this, this means your foot is pointed forward the whole time. When we hit 3 and 4 at the same time, you are not engaging the inner legs, which is how shin splints and low back pain is directly created. When your leg is in front of you, you are using your outside leg muscles, and when your leg is behind you, you transition into your inner leg muscles. People who only engage your outside legs are ignoring your inside leg muscles. Therefore, your IT bands, which is the outside muscles of your hip, are very tight, and you may have tight hips as well. When we use only one side of a muscle group on any appendage, one side gets tight and the other side is overstretched. Now our joints are not in alignment. The muscles are not in the right spot. This creates swelling and inflammation, and now we are pinching and stretching the nerves. This is what shin splints are: tight muscles, not in the right spot, pinching the nerves. A lot of people say to me, when I explain these concepts, they'll say, I don't walk like that. But if you do take careful observation of your feet, you may see that you are. It doesn't take much to create chronic pain. Just a 1/16 of an inch or a 5-degree angle is enough to create a chronic issue. The body does have a lot of tolerance to be out of balance. But if this out of balance goes for an extended period of time, the body will let you know it can't do it anymore. And when you've gotten to this point and keep ignoring all the warning signs, it slowly gets worse. So if you can acknowledge these early warning signs, we will not have to do anything extreme like surgery or painkillers. Now looking at this diagram, this is the cross-section of the lower leg. We have the inside leg muscles on the left, the flexor digitorum longus, and the flexor hallucis longus. These are the inner leg muscles that are needed to flex your inside foot when your leg is behind you. On the right, the outside leg muscles are the extensor hallucis longus, extensor digitorum longus, and the fibularis longus. And right in the middle, between the bones and these muscles, are the nerves. In this video, the motion of the foot is controlled by the small inside and outside leg muscles. Most people are only walking on the outside feet, and they are not flexing their inside leg muscles enough. And previously mentioned, if you are only flexing one muscle group, it will eventually get tight and shorten, and the other group, the inner leg muscles, will become overstretched and tight. When both muscle groups are compromised, then they are not located in their natural position, and then they are pinching the nerves. This is what shin splints is all about. This is essentially what carpal tunnel is as well. With keyboardists, computer mouse users, writers, jewelry workers, hygienists, these people get carpal tunnel because they are using the same repetitive motion in one direction for an extended period of time and never flex their muscles in the opposite directions. Carpal tunnel is shin splints of the forearm. Shin splints is carpal tunnel of your lower leg. So then I ask about the previously mentioned solutions for shin splints with ice, compresses, orthotics. Don't run on it. If shin splints are just an improper flexing of the foot, then none of these solutions are going to work for prevention. They may help when it is too late and inflamed, but not for resolving shin splints. You can't run around with ice cubes strapped to your legs. Shin splints is ultimately about flexing your inside leg and foot muscles when your leg is behind you and your toes are pointed forward for the whole stride. The one exercise I did was this one. I overemphasized flexing my inside lower calf muscles about 50 to 100 feet at a time and slowly built up the strength of that muscle. When you have a muscle group like this that you haven't used, it is very tight and it is out of shape. So it does take a while to loosen up. When you can remember to flex it as much as possible, it does become noticeable that it is getting stronger, and you will also notice the intensity of the shin splint pain disappearing. So the technique I'm using is a lot like ice or roller skating. Push off the inside legs at the end of the stride and point your toe to get the full range of motion with your foot and ankle. For you runners out there, this walking technique is a great warm-up for your running muscles. I've talked to you runners and you just want to run out the door and get your workout in. However, if you have not strengthened your inside leg muscles yet, it is very difficult to do this as you're running. The walking stride is longer than the running stride. As with running, one does not hit the heel, the fourth stepping point. So runners use the front of their foot, which is more about running on their toes. So this walking technique is a good stretch for runners. It is even good to walk slowly to make sure you really flex these inside leg muscles. Slowing down and getting the technique right will help you speed things up so you can access the inner leg muscles while you are running. The walking technique is its own workout. It is a challenge and takes some effort. So some of you runners have given up running. I'm saying follow this technique and you can run again. Start your run by walking at least around the block or even the first mile. Then run. And afterwards, have a good warm down, which is walking. Another good exercise to strengthen your inner legs is the yoga posture called the chair pose. Take a block, firm pillow, or a ball, put it between your knees, and squeeze them together and strike the pose. As you're squeezing your knees together, also flex your inside leg muscles down. Flexing the inside leg muscles is difficult, and this is a great exercise to isolate them and strengthen them. When it does come down to posture, your inside leg muscles is the muscle group that will help you stand upright, which will help put your shoulders and neck back into the correct position. Inner legs and the core of your body will assist a straight spine. I have written the book, How to Walk Correctly. It's available on Amazon. And I've also created a video series that shows more of the live walking technique. This technique goes way beyond shin splints. This technique solves most leg and foot issues, and even back issues, like low back pain, plantar fasciitis, knee pain, hip pain, sciatica, and even the neck. Correct posture starts with your feet. It is the foundation that the rest of your body sits on. If you correct the bottom, the top will follow. You can't correct it from the top down. A lot of our chronic pain is posture related directly by the way we flex our muscles. So when we can pay attention to the subtleties of our feet, a lot of our pain can be resolved. This is what I'm most passionate about in my practice, empowering people that they can heal themselves. Happy walking.